we just kind of want to know a little bit more about you and kind of just, 'cause I know a lot of times, um, everyone kind of just sees the videos, they see the reels, they see you when you're working, they see you at the, I've seen you at music events, music videos, lowrider shows. I mean, I can't think of something that you have. If your name doesn't come up, like something that you're not, never heard of before.
No, I've pretty much done everything. I work in the nightlife too, so I've danced at nightclubs out here, concerts, pretty much in Reno, California. I've been out in Vegas, so I pretty much have been everywhere. If there's an event out there, I'm pretty sure I've been there.
And I think I seen one recently too with was it Big Dash?
Yeah, that was last year in the summer. I went to I think it's called Great Inn. He had a concert out there.
Oh, Grand Casino, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I went out there to go dance. I got to meet him. It was super cool.
I saw that you were on stage.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was a surreal experience. He gave a shout out to my dad because I grew up to listening to that because of him. So he gave a cool shout out video to my dad.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've only been in a couple concerts myself, haven't done basically any videos, so I'm not the important one here. It doesn't matter about me, but I'm glad that you came out today. I appreciate it, and my partner here appreciates it too, Lobo. We're just glad to be able to kind of just put the spotlight on you. And oh no problem. And without anything else, we can kind of get into some questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sounds good. All right, so without further ado, I just want to, kind of, we all have different backgrounds. I was born in LA. I was raised in the Bay Area, so when I tell people and I have a Southern accent, they're like, "Where the hell are you from? Are you from Virginia? Are you from the South?" And I'm like, "No." Like, tell them, and then they just go, "Oh, it's crazy." So I'm sure that some people, your close friends and family, that people that really know you, they know your story. But this is for the people who don't. If you don't mind, tell us a little about how you grew up. Did you have a kind of larger family or a small family? And
Well, I was born and raised here in Reno, Nevada. My family is Guatemalan Brazilian, so pretty much I got a decently big family. I have a lot of my family here, mainly on my mom's side of the family. I got a lot of cousins everywhere. I believe I have a couple in Texas. I'm not sure if they're still in Texas, but I have pretty much family like all
Kind of
over.
spread out.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, for myself, I kind of have family kind of mostly in like California, like LA, Sherman Oaks, kind of next to like Hollywood.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, Temecula. Have you heard of Temecula?
Actually, I have, yeah.
Kind of middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
San Bernardino. So, I'm pretty much here by myself, but, if you don't mind me asking, do you have any, siblings, or do you have like a lot of cousins? Or?
I have one little sister. She's 16. She just turned 16. I have two stepsisters.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. I have two stepsisters. I'm not really close with them, but I do see them a lot, and there's a lot of love there. I have a lot of cousins everywhere. Close cousins, far cousins.
You know their names?
Ooh, a lot to name, yeah. And then I have obviously people I grew up with that I consider family. So I have a lot of those, cousins.
Right.
So pretty much it's like family everywhere. I like to keep my people close.
Yeah, no, I get that, so I was adopted myself. So I just know who my family introduced me to, but I have a couple cousins, but I don't even talk to them really anymore. I think everyone's kind of doing their thing.
Yeah. Once you become an adult, it's like everyone just everyone goes their separate ways.
Absolutely. No, I totally get it. I saw your story. Was it today? Whose graduation was it?
It was my little cousin's. Yeah.
Little cousins?
Yeah, he graduated from Valley's High School. Yeah.
I saw your little post.
Yeah.
Class of 2026.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
He was one of the first grandchild to graduate since I graduated. So I graduated about 4 or 5 years ago. So he was the first one since then.
Oh, so a little bit of celebration.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Oh man, I know how that is. My parents were happy. I just made it out of high school. Shit.
Yeah.
And on that note, kind of talking a little more about, kind of just your upbringings and whatnot. I mean, can I speak on for a second about myself and my family?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I grew up in the west side of Menlo Park, which is right next to Stanford University. It's pretty square over there, right? you say hi to your neighbors. Hi, good morning.
Yeah.
And did you see that car that was speeding by yesterday? And
Yeah.
that was too fast. We should report. But I guess in your household, I guess my question would be: is did you have strict rules within your family, like you had to be back at a certain time, or like they knew them personally? Like, could you spend time with your friends like outside of school or?
Honestly, growing up, I didn't really have that much friends. My mom was very strict, so I couldn't really much with, friends or anything. And it's like, if I do hang out with friends, it's like typical Hispanic household, like you can only go out one day a week, you can only have fun one day a week. It's like if you went out yesterday, you can't go out in 2 days or the next day, so it's like, it was always that, or it was always just kind of, if you want to go out, clean your whole room, clean the house, do the dishes.
You gotta do the chores.
You gotta prove yourself to go out.
You can't just leave without doing something.
Yeah. But pretty much like growing up, I struggled a lot, like having friends and making friends. I got bullied a lot, so it was kind of hard to make friends. Yes, I did. I did. Yeah.
I was the one who got bullied.
No, believe it or not, yeah, I got bullied like from elementary school all the way to high school. It's funny. It was always with guys. Guys always trying to pick on me.
Or were they jealous? Like,
who knows? A lot of people have told me like that's how guys show like they like you and things like that. But I'm just like, oh,
guys are weird.
Yeah, very.
And when I was going to high school, I mean, I was like class of 06, so 20 years ago, different then. But yeah, it's my parents let me go out, but they had to know the other family's parents, and I'd go out here and there. But I had kind of strict kind of upbringing as well, but just a little curious, because I know every family has different holidays they celebrate. Was there any holidays that you remember growing up that your family, okay, they're for sure celebrating on that holiday?
I mean, no, not really. We typically celebrated every typical holiday that anyone else would celebrate. I mean, my personal favorite holiday was Halloween and Valentine's.
I was going to ask that. What was your favorite holiday?
Halloween, most definitely. I'm very much a spooky girl. I was born in October, so I was like meant to be like spooky. I was meant to be, like scary movies, things like that. So that was like my first favorite holiday. And then my second would be Valentine's. I'm a little bit of a sweetheart. I like,
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. I think love is beautiful. I think it's very honored and cherished, so those would be like my top 2 favorite holidays.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think it should be cherished. It's kind of unfortunate sometimes in today's world. Sometimes
people take it for granted. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, I hear about the divorce rates higher than anything else.
Yeah.
Like how many people have kept their marriage? I mean, I think there's less people that kept their marriage than have gotten divorced.
Yeah.
So I've never been married, so I don't know. My dad said, kind of mad at me. Hey, how come you're not married yet? So, Dad, have you met the girls that I've been able to meet?
To those.
Yes. And,
yeah.
So actually what we'll do is, do you remember, do you have a picture that you remember like of one of your favorite Halloween costumes that you remember?
Absolutely.
A throwback?
It was actually last year. If you guys saw like the movie Sinners, that
was that the one, the old Western one?
Yes. The Irish vampire. His name was like Remick.
Yeah.
I did him, but a female version. So I kind of got into like a little suit. I smeared blood all over myself. I put in vampire fangs. And at that time too, I had long hair, so I cut my hair and I gave myself like, if you guys have seen like Twilight, I gave myself like an Alice from Twilight.
Of all the interest in makeup.
Yeah. So I kind of just like played into that. I also went as Catwoman. So typically what I do like for Halloween, I like to go like costume for costume, because for me, Halloween is as soon as October 1st hits all the way until October 31st. So any chance there's an event for like costumes, I will go through 5 different costumes. So last year I was that vampire. I was Catwoman. I went as some girl from The Matrix. It wasn't my idea, but it was pretty cool. I went also like I think the year beforehand I did Sally from The Night Before Christmas.
Oh, Night Before Christmas.
Yeah, I've always been.
What was the name of her husband?
Jack.
Jack.
Jack and Sally. Yeah.
The skeleton guy.
Yes, that is my favorite childhood movie. I did like the makeup and everything for her. I did also a vampire from like the Hex Girls. Like when it comes to Halloween, I do like everything in the book that I try to match.
Wow. So you can kind of show kind of your followers and fans, your favorite costumes over the years.
Yeah.
I actually didn't have that many costumes growing up, I can remember a couple. Vampire one year, and after that I don't remember. Now I just dress up as myself. I go up to the house, knock on the door, you know, and they go, "What are you doing? Aren't you a little old to be trick or treating?" And I say, "Hey, just give me some candy, man.
I feel like you're never too old to be trick or
Give me that candy."
Youth is being stolen very much from today's
Well, I have to go to the dentist all the time. No, I'm just kidding. But no. So I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate you talking about that a little bit. And we're going to kind of change gears for a second. But before we do that, was there anything, you know, so as you were kind of, let me ask you this first. When did you really start finding your first hobby or passion, you know, as you were going through like junior high school or high school? Like, did you play sports? Did you?
I
cheerleading
did. So, throughout my whole childhood, I danced. I started dancing when I was 10. My mom had enrolled me in
I'm sorry. What was that?
dance.
How old?
10.
Holy.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, when I was 10, my mom enrolled me in ballet. I didn't really like ballet. And then we found like hip hop classes. So she put me in some hip hop classes.
10 years old. Wow.
Yeah. And then, believe it or not, by 12 years old, I was like dancing with the adult team, the teenagers team and everything. Cause like, I guess like I was catching on fast and everything. I was very energetic. So they put me on that. And then I danced on a dance team for about my whole teenage years, you know, same team. By the time I turned 16, I became a dance coach for that dance team.
Not just a dancer, but dance coach.
Dance coach, yes. And then I ended up teaching a kids group in that dance group. So if any of you guys have seen me, I was in the Christmas parade. I performed at Cinco de Mayo. I performed at Dancing on the Streets, like a lot. So mainly before I started modeling, people knew me as a dancer. You know, I danced at everywhere around Reno and everything. And then I got into modeling, and then I got into go-go dancing. And then that's when people were like, "Oh, I've seen you before. Like, I remember you when you were a kid."
So you had some history. It wasn't like you just like made a decision one night and just hopped in.
No,
it was kind of a process.
Yeah, when it came to dance, like I definitely had some history. I was very sporty, very athletic. I also played soccer. So I danced and I played soccer throughout my whole childhood.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
Typical Hispanic thing, you know, you guys are gonna, typical Hispanic thing, you guys play soccer. Always, they're gonna put you guys to play soccer. Throughout high school, I played 3 different sports my freshman year. So I did soccer, basketball, and softball. Throughout high school, I ended up sticking with softball. I ended up doing JV. I played center outfield. I tried out pitching a little bit. Yeah, that was like my favorite sport to play in high school was softball, and then dance, of course.
Wow. So it sounds like you had quite a bit of a history in that. You know, I did some sports, you know, growing up, but I tried freestyle and I tried doing a little bit of sports, you know. I could never make varsity. I could always make JV. Yeah, I did wrestling, you know, I tried doing that, you know. It was actually hard, you know, like slamming people into the ground, you know, but just my coordination was a little off. And then when I did freestyle, you know, rap battles on the lunchtime in high school, I had to copy stuff from online just so I could sound like I was rapping something cool. Because they said, "You didn't write that." And I said, "How do you know?" And so my name back in the day was they used to call me MC Rhythmless or MC Daffy, because they said I had a big nose. I'm like, "Man, my nose isn't that. What are you talking about?"
Heck yeah.
But no, that, I mean, it's so all together now. How many years have you kind of put into dancing and just kind of just performing in front of, you know, the public?
Yeah, I'm 24. I'm gonna be 25 this year.
Shout out.
Heck yeah. I'm not good at math, but I want to say from the age 10 all the way till now. So however long that is, I'm not sure what numbers, but pretty much my whole life, like I've been trying to be active. I've been trying to, you know, get myself out there.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and you know, it's always a process, you know, and, you know, I'm still learning what I'm good at, you know, and, you know, I'm in my 30s. So, you know, it's a process, you know. People always told me I couldn't do things, or that, you feel like you don't have a confidence, but I feel like, you know, once you just do it enough, you get comfortable enough and it becomes your identity. You know, it's no longer something that, you feel like you have to be strained to do, or, you know, like it's a hassle. Like you feel like this is a part of who you are.
Yeah.
So I definitely have noticed that, you know, just from, you know, all the different times I've seen, anytime your name is involved, I see whether it's a lowrider show, whether it's a concert, I can see that, you know, you're really passionate about what you do.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I feel like a lot of people have asked me like what it's like with confidence, you know, because like
obviously to do jobs like these, you gotta have confidence. Growing up, like as a kid, as a teenager, I did not have like any confidence at all. I feel like as an adult, I still kind of struggle with confidence. But when it came to dancing, it was just like I shut out the world. I just did what I did and I just put my focus in my music. Like if anyone has ever seen like my dance videos, you could see it's like I'm in the moment, I'm in the zone, I'm not worried about anything else around me. Like I'm dancing. And I feel like that like gives like secret confidence as it is.
You kind of focus, you're in the zone, and man, if anybody's talking about anything else, you don't want to.
Yep, pretty much. Just drown the music out, everything.
Yeah. Well, good thing I didn't run up you there. I'd ask you something. You went, don't talk to me. Why do you keep asking me? Why do you keep asking me? Remember when I asked you to like to make that song with you? And I was talking. I was like, I was going to have you sing a little part of the song.
Oh my God, yeah.
I felt so embarrassed because, like, you know, I think that whole thing just kind of, I don't know what happened. But I'm sorry about that.
No, you're okay. I kind of like fell off. Like I took a little break from everything around that time. So I kind of just like, I got in like a little moment myself and I kind of just wanted to take a break from social media. I wanted to take a break from like modeling and everything. So I kind of like just kind of stayed, I laid low for like a couple of months.
Yeah.
And I barely got back into everything right now. In January, honestly, is when I decided like, you know what? I need to get back into it. I was in my head for too long. Yeah. Okay. I was in my head for too long. So I was like,
into it.
Yeah. And then here I am now.
Man, wow. That's, you know, I think we all have stories to tell, you know, and, you know, I think it's always good, you know, just to kind of let people know kind of, you know, as you're doing now, kind of just being honest and personal, you know, so I respect that. And, you know, before we switch gears for a second, you know, I have to ask, so, you know, you said you kind of started dancing like around, you know, when you were pretty young, 10 years old. Okay. I don't know what I was doing at 10, but were there any other jobs or paths or things that kind of that you maybe thought maybe when you get older that you maybe wanted to have a career in before you kind of started getting into dance, or maybe at the same time you were starting to do dancing, or was it, did you just kind of just make up your mind like naturally?
Actually, so my whole life I have always wanted, like I have two dream careers. I have an educational dream career, and then I have my dream career as a childhood. So obviously, like as a little kid, I would watch like videos of like Daddy Yankee, Pitbull, and I would just like do what the backup dancers were doing. And I remember being little, being like, oh, I want to do that when I grow up, like that, I want to do that. And like I remember just dancing at family parties and being like, I'm gonna be a famous dancer when I grow up, you know. But obviously, like typical Hispanic households, they want you to focus on an educational career. So growing up, I wanted to be a forensic detective. I wanted to work in forensics and homicide, you know, kind of like
cold case.
Pretty much.
What's that, First 48 or something?
Criminal Minds, like that was like my favorite thing. So graduating high school, I went to college for about 2 years, and I studied psychology for criminal behavior.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I was trying to go towards the educational dream career.
You're taking it serious.
Yeah. Wow. I was trying to go to the educational dream career because I felt like, you know, like I did let my family get to me at some point, you know, with them saying like, oh, dance isn't going to take you anywhere. Modeling's not going to take you anywhere. So I'm just like, let me get into the career. But during the time it was COVID. So like COVID made like classes hard, made everything expensive.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So I had to I did drop out of college. And after dropping out of college, I was like, you know what? If the educational dream career is not going to work out for me, let me go for my childhood dream career. And it has been working out amazingly. It's been everything that I've dreamed of.
And you've had all these opportunities. People reach out to you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, wow, that's crazy, you know, and it's, you know, sometimes, you know, and you said something about, you said your family was kind of talking, you know, or you said certain people in your family were kind of, you know, maybe not questioning, I guess, maybe the career path that you were thinking about, or at one point.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get it, you know, like, I'm a girl, you know, and it's like, obviously, it's like a dance career, you know. Typical Hispanic households, they want you to, you know, be something like a doctor, you know, a cop. They want you to be something that's worth making money. But me, personally, I took the biggest risk, and I went for what I love to do. And honestly, like, ever since taking that risk, that has been, like, the best thing I've ever had, you know. Still now to this day as an adult, I still get, you know, that backlash. Like, you know, it's not going to take you anywhere. Right. You're not getting paid for this. Like, you know, what's the point of doing this? But it's just like, hey, honestly, like, I'm having a good time. You know, I'm making a difference for myself. I'm making, you know, a difference for other people. And that's what matters to me.
I mean, I'm the same way, you know. I mean, you know, my dad didn't like I did music. He didn't like I did this, you know. And I said, you know, just let me just see what I can do, and you know, then
Exactly.
we can talk about it 5 years from now.
Exactly. You're like,
Don't
watch this.
yeah, like don't start judging me like right I'm first starting to pursue
Oh yeah.
goals, you know.
Yeah.
No, that's really you know interesting to know about you. You know, I can definitely relate, you know, and I understand what you're saying. I guess the last thing we'll talk about on that before we move on is you was there any specific talk that you had with either your father or your mother that you can remember that was just kind of like that final talk where they, you know, they finally accepted, you know, where you were wanting to go with your life and, you know, the types of, you know, path that you wanted to follow? Was there like a specific conversation that you can remember?
Well, on both sides, my dad, he was pretty much in jail like all of my childhood and my teenage years. He has always been super supportive. He's like the main one right now too that's like I send mostly everything to, like, hey dad, I'm going to be modeling at this event. I was just in this music video. And he's always like, chase your dreams, like I'm so proud of you, you know. And then on my mom's side, she just tells me, you know, be careful, you know, because you're a girl, you know, don't travel alone.
Right.
Watch out what people, you know, put you in. Watch out what people say. You know, she's more on the stricter side. I don't really know like
Right.
how she feels now. Like, you know, I want to hope that she's happy. I want to hope that she's proud of me. But definitely on my dad's side, he's very much proud. He's very much like, oh, my kid, like he loves to tell his people, his friends, he's like, my kid's famous, you know, my kid does this, like my kid does that. Like, I'm so proud of my kid. Like my dad, like my biggest supporter, my best friend, he shows me off.
Hey, you know, that's what, you know, the main role of a father should be, you know, well, both parents, but, you know, definitely, you know, father being in his daughter's side, you know, and, you know, backing her up and, you know, whatever she feels she want to pursue, you know, just, you know, highlight the positives, you know, instead of, you know, looking in the past, you know.
Yeah,
and now we're all grown up now. So, other than that, you mentioned that what's your favorite Daddy Yankee song? You said Daddy Yankee. You said you listen to this music, right?
Yes. Oh, childhood favorite since I was a kid, Rompe. That one was like,
What's it called?
Rompe? Rompe.
Rompe?
Rompe.
See, I can't even say it.
Yeah, that one had like, I remember being a little kid, them playing that at parties, and I'm over here just like getting down and everything. That was like my all-time favorite song. That and Gasolina.
No, so that's interesting, you know, about the Daddy Yankee. I like Winston Yandel. I like some Daddy Yankee as well.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I like a couple Bad Bunny songs, you know, Mayores.
Honestly, I don't really listen to Bad Bunny that much. Like his new stuff right now, obviously I'll hear it at the club. It is pretty cool, but
I don't really feel
I'm more like an old school reggaeton.
Old school reggaeton.
Yes, that's where my heart's at.
Cumbia,
Cumbia, bachata, like Romeo Santos. Like I'm like the old school, like Latina type of music.
If you were to name your top like 3 or 4 like bachata or like kind of old school artists, why don't you go name them out?
It would be Romeo Santos, Prince Royce, and Aventura. Those 3 are like the best like bachata people ever.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Yep, you cannot fail with Romeo Santos.
I'll have to check some of the music out. I don't have it popping up on my YouTube feed, but I'm sure I can check it out.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Or, you know, I could, you know, look it up on Google.
Yeah.
You know, Google answers everything. Right?
Yeah.
So other than kind of what you were talking about, if we don't mind just switching up here, we're going to try to kind of get through part of kind of as you're moving along and kind of, you know, once you kind of are established yourself, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So besides kind of, you know, a little bit of pushback from the, you know, the family, which is, you know, natural, you know, like you were saying, you know, a lot of, you know, Latino or Hispanic families kind of have, you know, they're very protective, you know, and they want to make sure that, you know, you're going the right path, you know, so we get that 100%. Was there any other challenges that you faced besides kind of, you know, what you already mentioned? As far as, you know, your dancing, your modeling, doing, you know, getting the gigs with the video shoots and the different concerts. Is there any challenges that you can think of?
Honestly, these are always going to be challenges, like just trying to get yourself out there, you know. Obviously, they're going to look at people that have, you know, the most followers, you know, the most, you know, people that you know, and I've struggled with a lot of like image issues, you know, like I've definitely struggled with like, you know, my personal image. You know, I feel like I don't look like other models. I don't look like other dancers. So I've mainly got in my head a lot with that, you know. I've struggled a lot with kind of like my events, my pictures and everything, you know, being put next to like other models and everything. Don't get me wrong, like other models are so gorgeous, they're so beautiful, but me, it's like I'm unique, you know, I'm different, you know, I'm like more on the darker side, I'm shorter, I like crazy colored hair, crazy
And I
colored
see the makeup and
yeah. So
the
it's like,
outfits, you know.
yeah, and it's nothing, you know, like the other girls do, you know. So it's like that's one of like my biggest challenges. You know, I get in my head a little bit, I get insecure a little bit, you know, kind of just like, oh, like what if they don't want me? What if they don't like me? You know, and it's like it's crazy to think that I'm getting all this attention, all these opportunities because I'm different, because I look, you know, I'm not following your typical modeling guideline. You know, I'm going my own route and I'm making my own path and making my own rules.
Wow, that's really interesting to know, you know, whether it's in person, whether it's, you know, a video that we've seen on Instagram or YouTube, you know, we don't see that other side, you know, what's going on in your head, you know. So, you know, in my opinion, you know, I've had enough, you know, self-confidence things, you know, that I've dealt with growing up. So, you know, what you're, you know, thinking in your head and experiencing is it's just normal. So don't feel bad. You know, I've had a lot of people tell me I can't rap, I can't do this, can't do that. You know, I tried to go with J Money, but apparently that was already taken, so I had to go with 650 Stack. So I've gone over barriers that I never thought that I could get over, and I can relate to what you're saying. And, you know, I think a lot of your viewers and fans can also relate to you, to know that, you know, they're not alone, you know, if they've felt something similar to what you've said you've gone through.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like it's not always glamorous, you know, it's like you're always going to have your ups and downs. There's obviously going to be more downs than ups. You know, I've definitely struggled a lot with my downs, you know, so that's like one of the main things that still now to this day that I'm trying to work on, you know, self-image, confidence and everything, just kind of trying not to get in my head. You know, there's obviously my people that always tell me like, you're okay, like you're doing great, you know, this and that, you know, but one of like my main things, unfortunately, like I am someone, I care about what people think. So it's just like, I am always in my head, like, what if they don't like me? What if, you know, they don't, you know, like what I'm doing, things like that. So I'm someone that has always struggled with what other people think.
No, I've been the same way. I'm kind of more shy. Like I don't always express it, but you know, I'm thinking the same thing you're thinking. So I find that I agree on that one. Yeah. So, you know, and I guess, you know, just as from a personal standpoint, kind of being a little older, as, you know, I'm just saying for myself, I'm not saying you have to apply it to yourself, you know, and obviously like a man's journey is different than a woman's journey, but, I mean, as far as that respect, but, as you get older, you kind of just like, you worry about yourself. You know, there's nothing wrong with taking a suggestion or listening to others, but you know, you have, it sounds like you have your goals in mind, you know who you are, and all the people who support you, you know, your family, they're all, sounds like they're supporting you as well. So sounds like everything's kind of working out. So guess we can close out that chapter, right?
Yeah.
All right. Before I move on here, so if you don't mind, I guess you've been in various photo shoots with different artists, music videos. You've been on stage with various artists. If you can tell for the fans and the viewers and everyone listening at home, what's like the top 2 or 3 names of the artists that everyone else might have heard of that you've worked with?
Honestly, like my top one that like I will never forget, and that was like the craziest experience ever, and it's what's helped me get to this like point right now. I did a music video with Nefta Pharaoh in January. Yeah.
Okay. I think I saw that one. Yeah.
Yeah. He posted like on his Instagram that he was looking for models, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna try it.
Right.
I ended up like swiping up on the Instagram. I was like, hey, I would love to be a model. He's like, oh, absolutely. Like, it's gonna be in San Francisco on this day, and I'm like, oh my god, like. He replied, like, I'm gonna be in his music video.
He's from the Bay, yeah?
Yeah, so I went over there, and next thing you know, like, I ended up getting there early, so I ended up, like, being, like, I got a solo shot, you know, and, like, I ended up being, like, one of, like, the main faces of the video. So it's, like, if you look at the music video, you just see me, like, solo shot, and I'm just like, oh, my God, like, I'm in a music video with Nefta Pharaoh, and when it got posted, it went completely viral. Like, everyone was, like, watching it. I saw that G-Eazy and Chris Brown commented on the video.
Oh, they comment on it
They
too?
did, and
What
they
did they
shared
say?
it on their stories. They were just like, fire, like this goes
Fire.
hard. Yeah, in my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, Chris Brown was just looking at my face. Like, that's crazy. Like, that is like a dream come true. Like, obviously, like, the dream would be like, hey, like meeting Chris Brown, dancing for Chris Brown, like being one of the backup dancers. But it's the fact that his eyes were looking at my face that had me like, oh my goodness, like, you know, like it's real, like this is happening. E40 commented on the video, like he went everywhere. Yeah, like everywhere, like it was all over, you know. So I was like, that's crazy, like that's me, you know.
That's you. Well, I know Chris Brown. Chris Brown didn't say anything about my page. Yeah, that's crazy. And so, and on, you know, before we go to the next part of this interview, are there any artists or producers that you're talking to? Are there any artists that you're working with currently on any projects or any producers?
No, not right now. The only projects I have going on are just upcoming lowrider shows that I'm gonna be in.
Lowrider.
I have one on the 26th. It's gonna be in Los Angeles. It's Hustle Music.
Hustle Music?
Yeah, I'm gonna be over there.
What part of LA is it gonna be?
No idea. All I know is that it's in Los Angeles, yeah. And then on the 27th, I'm gonna be in Victorville, California, and I'm gonna be at
That's on the 27th?
yes, the 27th, back in the day of the Lowrider show. There's gonna be a lot of cool people like MKY, Frankie J, Norman Carter. Like that's gonna be like my biggest Lowrider show that I'm gonna be in. So that's like the current projects that I'm working on, is just kind of preparing that. For that show, I'm gonna be in a bikini contest, a dance contest. So it's gonna be like I'm gonna be out there. So that's like one of the main things I'm prepared for.
A lot of cameras, a lot of
attention. Yeah.
Yeah. No, last time I went to kind of LA or was kind of more close was Riverside. That was when I was working with Critical to finish out one of my songs I was working with him. He was out in Riverside.
Yep, I did a dance video with her. It's on my Instagram page. Yeah.
I think she viewed because I posted up when you reposted. I was telling her about the promo.
Yeah.
For us doing this, and I seen her look. I think that was her.
Yeah. She's super cool. Yeah, super cool, super supportive. She's been helping me out too, kind of like dip my foot into like the lowrider scene, like dancing and everything. Because I'm mainly just into the modeling, but since I'm dancing, she's like, hey, like you should dance, like do what I'm doing, you know. So it's like we're over here dancing and everything. So it's cool stuff. I'm excited to like do these shows with her.
Okay. Anybody else going with you that we all know? Or?
My personal photographer, my big brother, Flashy Visions. He's gonna be out there.
You know, if I get a chance, I'll come out there. You know, with gas prices, you know, once I fill up my gas tank in Sacramento, it's gonna cost me just as much for the rental car, you know. But, other than that, a couple of things I got to ask. So I know a lot of people may not know, like, you know, the amount of effort that it takes to put into this, you know, like dancing and modeling. And, you know, it's not just that because you have to communicate with, you know, different, you know, producers and different, you know, talent agents or different types of agents in the business. How many hours a week, or, you know, if you even want to say per month, are you really like, not just when people see you, not just when people see you on the videos, but how much time is going behind the scenes into, you know, putting out there what everyone sees?
7 days a week. 7 days a week. Yep. I pretty much, I guess you can say I have 3 jobs right now. During the week, I have my own little 9-to-5 job, or 12-hour shift job, I guess you can say. And then on the weekends is like either I bartend at this gentleman's club that I work at, or I'm like focusing on my modeling. But pretty much like anytime that I'm not doing that work, I'm on social media, I'm posting, I'm promoting, I'm networking. I'm pretty much doing that at these jobs too. So it's like, there's no rest for that. Like, last night I worked my shift of bartending. I ended up getting off of work at 6 a.m, went straight to get ready for my cousin's graduation.
I saw that. Yeah.
Had my cousin's graduation. And then after the graduation, I slept for about, I guess, an hour and a half. So I'm on an hour and a half sleep. And then I just came straight here, you know, because it's like, for me, I'm very much hustle. I'm very much determination. I'm very much like, my motto, what I like to say is there's money to make, there's dreams to chase. So that's like
dreams to chase. So that's what I do, you know, no rest for the wicked. Gotta make a living for myself, make a name for myself. So it's 24/7 that I do this. We got to turn that. What'd you say? You said the hustle. What'd you say a second ago? We can turn that into like a rap hook.
Money to make, dreams to chase.
Yeah, we got to turn that into a hook right there.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that collab. No. I understand and what you're saying. You know, all the hours you put in, it's crazy. Like, you know, I just think it's interesting just for people to know, like, you know, that it's not just showing up. It's not just making a video. There's so much that goes behind it. So,
Absolutely.
if you were to, you know, talk to any, you know, girls that are maybe kind of coming close to that age or they're deciding, you know, their career path, is there any advice or any suggestions that you could give to maybe some girls that are, you know, wanting to maybe go into this kind of career path, into dancing, into modeling, or into, you know, the music industry, whatever it, you know, it is that they choose to do that's kind of similar to kind of the path that you took? Any advice or anything that you would maybe say to them, you know, to kind of encourage them on their path?
I would say don't do it alone, you know, especially if you're a female in this industry and this world in general, you know, like trying to model as a female, you know, you have your good moments and your bad moments, you know, you're gonna run into people that are gonna want to take you for granted, that are gonna want to, you know, be weird, be creepy, you know, definitely have people. My main thing is like have guys with you, you know, my brothers, I take them everywhere with them, you know, shout out to Flashy and AV. They're my security, they're my promoters. Like I take them everywhere with me. I feel more secure and more safe whenever I have them with me, you know, and it's just, it helps too, you know, because it's just like, obviously there's always going to be creepy guys. There's always going to be, you know, people trying to, you know, fight with you. There's going to be people's haters.
Get away from me.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, this girl, like, you know, there's always going to be people like that. So it's just like, it helps having, you know, backup. It helps having, you know, I guess you can say like the guard dogs, you know, like the intimidation, it helps to have them, you know, because it's just like, oh, I got my people here, like, you know, like I am safe, I am secure, you know. So definitely advice I give out to girls trying to get into this industry is don't do it alone. Don't do it alone. Know what you're getting into, you know, because it's not easy, you know. This industry, it's rough. It's not easy. It's a lot of mental focus. It's a lot of like body shaming, you know, girl shaming, you know. There's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people, you know, that are going to doubt you. There's always going to be people that want to take you for granted, you know. Like, just have a good, strong head on your shoulder and definitely don't do it alone.
Wow, and that's pretty deep there, you know. It's like you know, a lot of girls, they might just see the glamour side of it, right? Like kind of what you were saying, you know, all the hours that you put into it. So it's not just a quick decision and then, you know, they can just start getting calls, you know. They have to figure out, you know, who's going to be on their team, who's going to stand by their side, who's going to support them, you know, and those long hours, you know, it's like, you know, a lot of people are sleeping at that time, right?
Yeah. It's a lot of sacrifices. It's a lot of like things to kind of like to struggle with, you know. Obviously right now, like, you know, we're not really making much money with this stuff. So it's like right now it's like that saying, it's like you have to spend money in order to make money. So right now that's like our biggest challenge, you know, like traveling, you know, hotel expenses, gas expenses, you know, food and things like that. So we're all trying to like work overtime. We're all trying to get our money up, you know, kind of just make ends meet so that way we can make it out for all of us, you know.
Hey man, you know, that's can't say it better than that, you know. And I guess just one last part on that part. So let's just say a girl's ready. She's made her decision. She doesn't really know anybody yet. She hasn't stopped at any you know, any of the clubs, or, you know, she hasn't met any of the promoters. What should be their first couple steps they should do to kind of at least get that door open?
Honestly, with that question, I feel like I'm very bad at that question. So,
and that's okay. That's the case, you know.
I've danced my whole life, so that was already easy.
So
when it came to the modeling, honestly, I didn't really like look into it. I didn't really think like, oh, hey, I want to be a model. What had actually happened, like with my modeling backstory, is my brother just bought a camera and he's like, hey, I want to test out some pictures. And I'm like, you know what, let's do it. And he got a lowrider and I was like, oh, I was just looking at lowrider shoots and everything. I saw these girls in bikinis and I was just like, you know what? I was like, let's do something like that. So I had my very first photo shoot with him. I was just in a bikini with a lowrider. Next thing you know, like after we both did that photo shoot, that like set it off for us. You know, a lot of people are like, hey, can you model for my car? Can you model for my car club? And then they like reached out to him for pictures and everything. So honestly, when it comes to modeling, I didn't really, you know, throw myself in there. I kind of just was like, oh, you know what? Let's give it a shot. And then next, people came to me for it. So I'm always super bad at advice for that because I was giving it a shot, and then look where I am now, So I feel like
You never know. You just
yeah,
never know.
I feel like I always suck at giving girls advice for that because I'm just like, I don't know. I was just here, I was just trying it out.
No, absolutely. So if there are some young women that have made their mind up, is it okay for them to reach out to you for maybe some guidance?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I do gotta warn you guys, like I am busy, so it's like I try to get to my messages like when I can, so it's like if I can get back to your message, like it's not personal. I'm really sorry. Like I'm just all over the place, but it's just like absolutely, like I will try my best to respond to that. I will try my best to look at that, but yeah, most definitely.
And how do you want them to reach out to?
My Instagram handle is wicked1_666. TikTok is the same one as well, wicked1_666. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. That's a good way to kind of wrap up that, part of it, and, because I know I will say back in the day, I did go to a couple strip clubs, I haven't gone in a while, but, it's more my friends thing, but I know it's different, they're not all the same, there's clubs, there's normal clubs, there's bars, music events, where there can be a photo shoot, but, I think it's always good if there's a way that some of these girls are interested, they can at least contact you in some way because, maybe they're kind of a little nervous. Like I was nervous, I don't know if she would say yes to do the interview or not, but so other than that, just got a couple more questions for you. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So when you go shopping, now I worded this very specifically. Okay. When you go shopping, because I notice you have different types of outfits for, for this type of event, or I see in the Halloween costume, I see your I see that kind of stuff, it'll pop up on the feed and everyone's got 500 likes already in 30 seconds. I'm like, how does she do that? I could post up a cool track and no one gives me 500 likes in a month. So when it comes to getting out your outfit, how do you come to select that? Does it kind of depend upon the event? Does it depend upon like what's going on? Like how do you go about picking that?
Honestly, it just depends on the mood. So it's like I have 3 styles. I like to say it's either I go like my goth, or it's like my brats, or it's like full Adam Sandler tomboy, it's like alter egos, I guess you can say. I have my goth alter ego,
Right.
Mercedes. So that's what I like to name her and everything. And then it's like the tomboy. We have like this little inside joke. We go by Dante. So it's like I will be in like my Dickies, or it's like, my little boy shorts, my baggy shirts, my my Nikes and everything, just like, it honestly just depends the mood, whatever I wake up, do I want to be girly or do I want to be, fierce, so.
No, I respect that, I gotta always pick my fits, make sure that I'm doing it right, Maybe some girls don't want to talk to me anymore. I wear the wrong fit. They're like, they tell the girls, man, you wouldn't believe what he was wearing. Nothing matched and yada, yada, yada. But, all right. So if you were to say your top 3 brands, whether it's shoes, perfume, or I guess we'd say, shoes, perfume, or lip gloss or mascara, why don't you go ahead and give a shout out?
Ooh, easy. When it comes to brands, it's Juicy Couture, Ed Hardy, and honestly, DGK.
Oh, DGK?
Yeah.
That's the perfume, right?
Yeah.
I had to make sure.
Oh, DGK is like mostly like the skateboard brand, kind of. Yeah.
Okay. And what about shoes? Zapatos.
Cortezes.
Cortezes?
I do not play about my Cortezes.
I got some blue Cortezes at home right now. If you see some of my videos, you probably see me wearing them. I've had them for like 15 years.
Heck yeah.
So
Yeah, I love
today
my
I wore my
Cortezes.
Reebok Classics. So besides everything else that you've talked about, is there any other major event or show or concert that to you just will never forget? Or that just sticks out in your mind?
I would say any concerts that I did at Lex. I danced for Mike Shern, Stage of the Gemini. The concert I did at Graydon, I danced for G-Eazy and Baby Bash. Those will be like concerts that I will never forget about, because it's like I'm not just watching the concert, like I'm dancing the concert. So those, I will never forget about those.
And what was the first one again you mentioned?
Mike Sherm.
Mike Sherm, okay.
Stage the Gemini, Baby Bash, and G-Eazy.
Oh, yeah. And I saw that Baby Bash one. I mean, that was kind of like more my area.
Yeah.
There's so many new artists, it's hard for me to keep up, but, I don't know. Maybe one day, maybe I can talk to your brother. Maybe we can have you for a music video.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
But if you don't like my music, then we can just skip that whole part. But we can, So I had a very kind of interesting question. I thought about it. This is a real quick one. So I know social media plays a big role, in people getting, getting their name out there, promoting themselves. But even as an artist, I know that there's things that like I can't do, or that it's very complicated with the app. And you have to use all these other apps just to make a simple video. What simple improvements, in your opinion, if you could make to whether it was Instagram or like you said, TikTok, could be changed that would make it a lot more easier? Because there's some apps, look, there's some stuff that I don't like about Instagram, and it makes it pisses me off. So when it comes time like posting about my music, or is it what could be changed that could make it easier for models and dancers and people that do music videos?
Honestly, like when it comes to Instagram messages, like being able to separate like work with personal,
Right.
Because it's just like I feel like I don't get to answer my personal really that much because I'm focused on the business. So it's like if you could have like 2 separate catalogs for that, like business and personal, that would make my life so much easier.
I agree. I get all these spam messages.
Yeah.
I'm like, they keep asking me, I want to do promotions, and usually I just put them to the general. I guess there's primary and general. That
I've heard about that. I'm trying that out right now, but it's like sometimes I forget that it's
slide
the
to the
general.
right, slide them to the right.
Yeah, so then it's like I forget about the general, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I have this, like, and then next thing you know, it's like someone's trying to get a hold of me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I forgot I put you in my general. No. So it's like it's I'm learning it, but we're working on it.
We're working on it. Any other changes you would suggest?
Honestly, no.
I'm sure Instagram's listening right now. Instagram, hi, how you doing?
Yeah, honestly, no, that would be it.
I've actually driven. Before I go to the next thing, I've actually driven by Facebook and Instagram. So actually, Facebook it's in Menlo Park, Palo Alto, in the Bay Area, and then right next to it is Instagram headquarters. So Facebook, you're right. So but now now that they're bigger, they're probably bigger, more buildings. But Facebook had majority of the properties, and so when I think Facebook bought out Instagram, we don't have to discuss it if you don't want, but is there ever a time, a photo shoot, an event? I mean, maybe not so much, bartending and whatnot, but I guess we can include anything of your professional work history that you remember where you were actually working, whether it was a shoot, dancing, doing a lowrider event. Was there ever a bad experience that you had that you can remember? You don't have to give out any names, but, can you remember where you just, after it happened, you're just like, man, that pissed me off, or what the hell happened?
Honestly, no. So far, I haven't really had any bad experiences. I mean, working in the nightclub industry, you're obviously going to have your guys, that are going to want to, finger up, trying to
back up,
touch you or things like that, or just trying to, not take no for an answer or anything, but I'm very much well-grounded, I'm very much stand up for myself. I very much like shut that down,
Business is business.
Yeah, boundaries is boundaries, it's like when I say don't touch me, I've had experiences like working in the club, where guys have, smacked me, and like one of my favorite things is like, all right, me next, like, do you want me to smack you next? Because if you're going to smack me, I'm going to smack you back.
Was it like a coworker?
No, it was like a customer.
Oh.
A customer, yeah. Obviously working in a gentleman's club, guys are going to think like everything's free for guys, and it's just like, no, like one thing about me is I do not play about my body, touch my body, I will come at you 10 times harder.
I'm getting scared just looking at you right now. I'm like, man, even being like, we're the COVID 6 feet away, I'm getting scared. So, that's, I even knew that, whether it was in nightclubs or whatever, like I always kind of, respect, show respect. I always try to, we always just, when I went out with my friends, we'd always, always try to show respect. That's the number one thing. When we go out, like it's about respect, and trying to, just have a good time, and, back then, shit, there wasn't really Instagram, it wasn't really Facebook. Well, you got Facebook, you talk to a girl, you're like, what's your MySpace? Can I add you on MySpace? You already know that, but so I totally respect that. I get it, and so, hey man, for all you guys out there, show some respect, so
Most definitely.
All right. Other than that, so have you noticed any major changes in the last? I mean, so how long have you been in the gentleman club kind of field, or I guess like professional work, like
the nightclub industry, I've been in that for 2 years now. One thing I've changed and I've noticed
Right.
like that
Tell
has
us about that.
changed
Tell us
is
about
my
that.
confidence. Honestly, like before doing all of that, I was actually like super quiet, super shy and everything. And it's crazy like seeing people I went to high school with like at these nightclubs and they're seeing me. They're like, oh my God, like I would have never expected you to do this. And I'm just like, hey, me neither, because I was very quiet in high school, you know? So I'm just like,
What happened?
honestly, like, yeah, I tell the same thing. I was like, I didn't expect myself to do this, but I mean, here we are, you know? So it has definitely helped me with my confidence. It's definitely helped me be more of an extrovert. It's definitely had me be more hard-headed, you know? Because obviously in the nightclub industry, you know, girls, that's one of the biggest issues, girls, you know? It's like one thing, like advice I would give to anyone trying to get into the nightclub industry is you got to go in there strong, because, you know, girls will try to pick on you. Girls will try to, you know, befriend you. Girls will try to, you know, do the most, you know? So it's just like, go in there with a strong head on your shoulders. You know, it's like, I went into the industry. It's like, nobody's your friend, you know, nobody wants to be your friend, but I've slowly, you know, let my guard down a little bit, and I've made a lot of friends in the nightclub industry, you know, shout out to those friends.
Shout out.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like, you got to go in there strong. You got to go in there with tough skin. You know, that's the one thing that you gotta get into with that.
You just gotta kind of know what you're getting into, right?
Yep, know what you're getting into.
You know, and I'm sure there's, you know, they kind of have an idea, but you know, they don't really know until they're really there and doing it.
Definitely toughen up working there.
Absolutely. No, that's interesting to hear, you know, and you know, I totally get it. You know, you just kind of got to be strong, have your confidence, you know, and you know your direction, you know where you want to go, and you know, everything else kind of figure it out at the, you know, at the end, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Nanii. Well, you know, looks like we're kind of coming to the end of this. I'm so sorry we couldn't chat more. I know I just probably just talking your ear off, right?
No, I've been enjoying this.
Well, me too. We really appreciate you coming out. So if there was anything that you want, you know, your fans, your followers, your friends, your family, and we just put them all into one category, because you know what, everyone is here supporting you and here to back up, you know, what you're doing. Is there anything that you want to be remembered for, you know, like if you were to look, you know, maybe 10 years ahead, looking back, you know, from today, you know, what do you want to be remembered for?
Honestly, I want to be remembered for like my hard work, being full of life, you know, constantly wanting to do this, you know. Anyone that knows me right now knows that I'm very much go, go, go. And I'm very much like, oh, I want to do that. I need to do this. I need to do that. So I want everyone to remember me as like, you know, a hustler, you know, wanting to make it out of here, wanting to make a name for myself.
Absolutely. You know, I agree. I'm trying to do the same thing. I think, we got two different paths, but, you know, I think it's cool that I can relate, you know, we both have our goals in mind, you know, and it's not easy for me either. So I can understand, you know, money.
Yep.
You know, and I'm not very good at photo shoots, apparently. Maybe we can let my photo guy tell you. Other than that, 27, besides the events that you mentioned down in LA that were coming up, and then what was the other city that was coming up too that you mentioned?
Victorville, the 27th.
Victorville, the 27th. Besides any of those major events, is there anything coming up that you for sure want, you know, you want people to come out to?
Ooh, honestly,
pull up. When are they gonna pull up?
Check out my Instagram, because it's pretty much like a mini tour that I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna be at all lowrider shows out in, you know, that I'm one of the models for. And then obviously the two that's happening in Los Angeles and Victorville. I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm going to be in Stockton. I'm just look out for my Instagram, guys, because I'm always posting where I'm going to be at. So.
Man, all right. Well, you know what? You know, got to stay tuned to her, you know, always got to be up to date with all that, you know, and, you know, don't miss out what she's got going on. I really wanted to tell you that we really appreciated you coming out. You know, if I missed anything, you know what, you can blame it on 650 Stacks. It's my fault, not yours. So if I anything wrong or if I pronounce your name incorrectly anytime, blame it on me. It's my fault. But, you know, all I can do is wish you much love, much respect, much praise to all that you're doing. I see your hustle. I see your grind. You know, I'm from the Bay Area, so I out there, you got to hustle, you got to grind. You know, if you don't do that, you fall behind. So keep doing what you're doing. Much respect. And, I wish you nothing but success here on out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Nanii. I appreciate it. Go ahead and stand up.
Oh.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right.